Hi, and welcome to our first step in creating a laser blaster turret game object for Unity. Now, one thing when you're making Unity games, it's a good idea to create a lot of reusable assets and scripts that you can use in multiple games. So as you make more and more games, you build up this library of assets, which makes it much easier and faster to make new games because you can bring in some of your existing assets. So as we create this blaster turret, I'm going to make it in a way that we can reuse it. Maybe we can make different turrets of different configurations and use them in a different game. So it's something to pay attention to as you go through and start making your own game assets. So step one, we're going to go into Blender and we're actually going to draw our turret. And we're going to draw the turret and create it in a very specific way such that different pieces can rotate and aim independent of other pieces. And pay attention because this is very important if you want to bring it into Unity and make it work correctly with your script. So why don't we put our design glasses on, which of course are the same as our game glasses, and get designing in Blender. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to create our turret mesh in Blender. Now, as we make this mesh, we're going to make it in a way that we can bring it into Unity and rotate the top and the guns independently from the base. So we got to pay attention to a couple things, and I'll point those out as we create our turret. So first thing we're going to do is come in here. Going to go to the front view, and I have snap on increment so we can place everything exactly in precise locations. So it's going to make it easier to make things symmetrical. So what we're going to do first is select our guy. We're going to grab it in the Z direction. I'm going to hold down Control so I can operate the snap. All right. Going to go into edit mode, hit 1 to select this vertex. I'm going to Shift S to do cursor to selected. Going to insert a cube. I'm going to scale it down, and I'm going to scale it such that the bottom is at our base. So this is going to make sure that our turret can sit at 0, 0 is on the plane in Unity. And what I'm going to do is Shift D. Going to grab it, the X direction, hold down Control. All right, I'm going to go to top view. Find it again. Scroll over there. I'm going to Shift D. Grab it in the Y direction, hold down Control. Going to Shift D one last time. Grab it in the X direction, hold down Control. All right, so we have our 4 feet at our base. It's looking good. Now what I'm going to do is hit 3 to select faces. I'm going to grab all 4 of the faces here. I'm not using mirror right now because I don't want this center cube mirrored. Extrude, hold on Control. Oops, I'm not gonna hold on Control. I'm gonna scale. All right, we got some good feet there. I'm gonna grab all 4 of these, or actually 8 faces on the feet. Going to Control E, extrude individual faces. All right, do those out. I'm going to scale them, Shift Z, because I just want to scale the X and Y's. There we go. I'm going to go hit 2 so I can select all these top edges here. Holding down Shift key so I can select them all because I want to move them all together. All right. Now we go to side view, going to grab in the Z direction to kind of bring them down like that. All right, so we got some nice looking feet there. I'm gonna save it. I usually save quite often to make sure that I don't lose anything, just in case something goes terribly wrong. So I'm gonna go to the front. I am going to actually grab this top face first, go to front, grab in the Z direction. I'm going to shorten this a bit. All right. Actually, I'm going to make sure grab Z, hold down control so I have this snap to a specific height. All right. Now I'm going to extrude. Kind of make sure, remember to hold down control while I do that. Scale. One more. All right. Extrude. All right. Let's zoom in here, get it centered. Extrude up. Scale out a bit. A little wider than the base. All right, extrude about that much. Extrude, scale. All right, that's going to be our top. I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is select, go to object. I'm going to reselect, see this yellow point? That's the origin. I want the origin to be back down at the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shift S, actually want to go to object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Oops, you know what happened is I moved it. All right, where is the 3D cursor? Shift C. Make sure to move that 3D cursor back to that center point. All right, now I can do object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I want this top to be independent. I want this to rotate independent of the base. So I need to separate this top. So I'm going to hit Z. I'm going to go to wireframe view so I can select everything all the way through. Actually, what I need to do is go into edit mode first. There we go. Yep, select the top. I'm going to hit P and I'm going to separate this top. You'll notice over here on the right hand side we can see that we have now two cubes, and the selected cube, I'm going to make sure that it's the selected one. Oops, go back to object mode again. Select this top, and I'm going to hit F2 and I'm going to rename this to top. And I'm going to select the base and rename this to base. It's going to be important when we bring it into Unity because these names follow the shapes as we bring it in, and we can keep track of which is which as we're working with the items. All right, let's go back to solid view. I'm going to select this top, go into edit, select this face, Shift S, cursor to selected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a cylinder here. Shift A, cylinder, go to front view. I'm going to scale this guy down like that. I'm going to rotate it. All right. I'm going to go back into wireframe view. And I'm going to grab this in the X direction, and I want this to be exactly centered. I'm going to zoom it a bit more before I do this to make sure that I can get it, grab it, X direction. It is not exactly on the center. It should be. All right, grab it. Oops. Grab it, X direction. Get it perfectly in the center. Grab it, X. I wasn't careful enough when resizing this size, and you'll see that it's this, the width is not on an even grid boundary, which is why it didn't snap exactly where I wanted to. All right, so I'm going to do P. I'm going to separate this guy out, and I am going to go back into object mode. I'm going to select this top. 2, I'm going to rename this to guns, so now we can keep track of that. And what I want to do is I want to set the origin of this to the center again. Bothers me that it's not exactly grab X. I want to get it right on there. There we go. All right. Now I can scale in the X direction up to about there. All right. Let's go back to solid view. Okay, so let's go into edit. Let's shift S. Let's set cursor to selected. We are going to insert a cube. There we go. Let's go to front view. Oops, so but before I do that, what I need to do is I need to go into auto mirror. All right, now I can go back. Now I can insert my cube. There we go. Now we got a cube on both sides, which is exactly what we want. We want a gun turret on each side. Let's scale. A little bit bigger than my cylinder. All right, let's grab in the X direction. Let's bring it in. All right. While we're at it, let's inset here, scale. Oops. Yes. Inset, scale, grab X. Let's bring that out a little bit. Scale it down a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's give a little bit of action to our guns here. Let's come out. Let's scale that down. Extrude. Scale. Oops. Extrude. Scale. Extrude. Inset. Scale. Extrude. All right. Looking pretty good. Let's grab this and extrude out the back. Let's scale him out a bit. A little counterbalance to our guns there. Now let's come in here. Let's do a control. Oops. Did not want to do that. Control R, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going to go back into face view, hold on the Alt key and the Shift so we can select, circle select all these guys, inset, scale. All right, looking pretty good. Now let's give a little bit of dimension to these guys up here. Inset, scale, scale, scale X, extrude. Let's grab in the Y, bring those back a little bit. All right, not too bad. Let's come in here. Let's go back into object mode, select this guy, go into edit. Let's give some dimension to him. Let's inset, scale X, like so, extrude, scale, grab Y, let's bring him back. All right, not too bad. Let's inset here, scale. What I'm gonna do is grab Y here, pull him back, inset, scale, extrude out, scale. All right, make him look like a big eye there. I like it. All right, let's give a little bit of dimension to these sides here. Let's inset, scale, extrude along individual faces. Oops, out a bit like that. Scale down. All right. One last thing. Let's go back and select this bottom. Go into edit. Let's grab this guy here. Circle select. Control R. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Let's go back into face view. Alt. Circle select. Shift. Just like we did on the guns. All right. Inset. Scale. All right. Looking good. So now what we need to do is we need to give a bit of color to this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to map to a material I already made. If you'll watch one of my other videos, I have this low poly graphic that I use to assign colors. And I'm going to come in and tab into this guy. I'm going to select all. What I'm going to do is unreset the faces, so it makes it easier to scale them down and land on an individual color. Select this guy, assign his material, select all, UV reset. All right, let's do our guns. Assign the material here, low poly, edit, select all, UV reset. All right. So now what we need to do is change it from being a glorious mass of color. We will scale this guy down. What I'm going to do is grab it and assign it to this deep red here. All right, looking good. Not sure why my tool doesn't show up here. I don't know if it's hidden behind there or what, but it won't show up. That's okay. It's not a lot of complication here. I'm going to go into edit. I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to scale this down. Remember, the same keys work in UV editing. Grab it, G for grab. Set that color. Select this last guy. Circle everything. S for scale. Grab it, G for grab. Drag it in there. All right. So now it's all dark red. Now what we're going to do is give some highlights here. So I'm going to select this top part. Let's select this front face. Let's grab him. Let's give some bright red to some of these guys. Let's grab this top. I'm going to hold Control plus. That grabs everybody, all the faces to the neighbor of the one I have selected. Grab this. It's a handy for grabbing connected items. All right, let's grab these guns here. Let's just grab these. Control plus. Make sure I have everything grabbed. Yep, looks good. Grab it. Bright red. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's grab these. Hold Control and select all these inner parts, grab it. Let's grab those to bright red, give a little bit of contrast. Remember, in Unity, we won't see all these highlights. What it's going to look more like is this rendered view. This is what it's going to look more like. I have a little bright light here, so it'll look a little darker, but won't look so distinct. So we have to give some color differentiation in order to give it things that stand out in Unity. So I'm going to do the same thing for these guys. Oops. Alt. There we go. Select those. G for grab. Drag that to that there. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab these feet. I'm going to hit L to grab all of it. Shift L. Oops. That's interesting. I'll just grab one at a time. L. Grab. All right. Let's grab this. L. Grab. All right. So we give us some little gray feet there. L. Grab all of them. G for grab. All right. Last. Select. L. G for grab. All right. So we got some gray feet. We got some highlights on the red. One last thing. Let's make this front item. Grab it. All right. It's looking good. Let's go back to layout mode. We have to make sure that, let's go into wireframe. Got to make sure these center points are all correct. So select this top. See this origin? C is way down there. I'm going to do object set origin to center of mass. What I'm going to do now, see our origin is right there. What I'm going to do is I want to apply this mirror. If you don't apply everything, items when you bring it into Unity won't be in the exact correct position when their position is 0, 0, 0. And we really want everything to be, their position to be 0, 0, 0 relative to their parent. And so I'm going to apply that. What I'm also going to do is come into object, apply all transforms. Unfortunately, you'll notice when I did that, see our little yellow dot move down to that origin. So now I need to reset it. And this is somewhat problematic because now I can't set it to the center of mass because I have these guns on there. So what I can do is you'll notice that this is where the mirror cut our item in half. So what I can do is I can select all these guys. Hold down shift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, not that guy. And I am going to, oops, that's interesting. Yeah, get rid of that guy. Select him and that. I'm going to hit F to make a face. Then I'm going to hit Shift S, cursor to selected, and now I can set my object, set origin to 3D cursor. So now my origin's back where it belongs. All right. So let's do one last check. Yep, that origin is there. That origin is there. That origin's there. All right. Everybody is where they're supposed to be. He's looking good. He's looking red with some highlights. Let's do last thing now. The top needs to be a child of the base because when we move the base, we want the top to move, but we want the top to be able to rotate independent of the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into here, select the top, hold shift, select the base. You always select the parent item last when doing this. I'm going to hit Control P and I'm going to set parent to object. And now what happened is you'll see that the top moved underneath the base, which is exactly what we wanted. And now what we need to do is the guns need to be a child of the top. Repeat the same process, Control P, and now I have my guns are underneath my top. So what this allows us to do is I can rotate around Z and see our guns move with our top, which is exactly what we want. I can select our guns and I can rotate around the X, seeing they move up and down, which is exactly what we want. So let's go File, let's hit Save here. Now what we're going to do is we are going to select everything and we're going to export it to our Unity project. So let's go up here, Export, FBX. If any of these parts moved a little too fast, I did put together some basic videos on going through a little bit slower and step by step. I know when I watch these videos, things move pretty fast and I can't always follow it. So I do go over all these steps in a lot more detail in some of the other videos. If you want to subscribe to my channel and check those out. But for now, I'm going to export. So here's a tutorial base Unity project that I made for my rotation tutorials. And you should probably watch those if you're going to watch the rest of these tutorials, because I make use of a lot of the rotation items covered when doing the scripting. But for now, I'm going to export it to this tutorial base assets imports. I always like to make an imports folder to put my items where I export them from Blender. I'm going to call it double gun turret. I'm going to export. I have selected objects selected, apply transform, export. All right, let's come into here. You can see it appeared now under my imports, so I can grab it, set these to 0, 0, 0. I always like to put them at 0 so I can check everything out. Looks like our origin point is where it is, but you notice our guns are missing. So let's look at what happened to them. Okay, and what happens is you'll notice that it added a rotation. It did a couple things. It set this scale, and I'm not sure why it does this, because when they're children, it sometimes messes up. So we can set those. We can just reset all these back to 0, because this is what we want. This is why we did that apply transform, so that at the 0 point and scale of 1, everything is where they're supposed to be. So now you can see it's back where it's supposed to be. Let's grab our top. You'll notice our top we did not apply transform to, and this is what happens is you notice its position is not at 0, 0, 0 because we didn't apply that transform. It's not a big deal. It'll work just fine, and we can test this out now. Let's rotate this top. Yep, see our guns are rotating with the top. Now we can select our guns and we can rotate them around the X. Whoops, have to be in here. We got to go, see, we got to do this to local. Local will be rotate everything relative to its position. So we keep hitting R. I'm hitting R because it's confusing in Blender. Of course, you hit R to rotate, and my brain gets programmed to do that. So, oops, we don't want it rotating that. Let's go back to 0. See, what we want to do is we want to let the top rotate it around the y-axis. We want the guns just to rotate in the x-axis. See, they can go up and down. Exactly what we want. All right, everything is working as it should. Set the top back to 0, 0, 0. All right. So now we have our turret. It's sitting in our Unity project. Let's save this guy. And now we're all set to add some script to it. So for the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to add some script and allow us to move around our turret and aim it and fire some laser bolts. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and watch my next video to see how we can add some script to animate this guy. Thanks for watching, and if you like these videos, again, subscribe to my channel. Lots of other videos and tutorials to help you make Unity games, because that's the point of this channel, is help you create assets and write script to make Unity games. So thanks for watching.